Now this might not look like a regular combination lock, but it operates exactly the same as one of the master locks that you see on lockers and things like that. And the main idea is that you have these three rotors, 1, 2, and 3, and they spin. These two are independent, they spin freely, whereas this one is connected directly to the dial in the front. And you can control the second and third ones by engaging these nubs on the rotor. So the idea here, we'll pretend this is our door latch. So right now it's in and the door would be locked. So what we need to do is retract it this way in order to gain access to whatever we want. And we retract it by, this part continues through here, shifting this back by pushing this down, and then I'll shift it back. So this bar has to go into here, which means we have to line up these three notches, and each rotor has a notch in it, in a different place. So the way that we do this is by spinning this until we can get them lined up, which normally corresponds with the numbers because you can't see the rotor. And so to get control of the third rotor, we have to engage all the nubs, which is why they always tell you to rotate 3 times or 2 times. So right now we've caught the second rotor and we have control of it in the right direction, and by continuing to rotate we now gain control of the third rotor because you can see all 3 nubs are locked up over here. So we're going to continue to rotate this until our bar drops into the first notch. Then they always tell you to go 1 rotation in the other way, and so what we're doing here is spinning this nub all the way around until it engages there. Now we have control of the second rotor in the other direction, and so we're going to rotate this to 52 or something like that, and boom, we've dropped into the second notch. So now, since we have direct control over this rotor, we can simply rotate directly to this notch, which is here, click, and now all our notches are in, so we can, sometimes there'll be a special lever or whatever, and here we're just going to push this down as it engages all of these, and it's going to retract that thing. So now we can open our door, and life is good. Now this, normally you can just pull it back up. This one's a little bit stiff, so we have to help it along. But what happened right there, actually, when it popped out, is it spun some of the rotors away. That's a security feature that they use on padlocks, because then you can't open it, or when you close it, the rotors won't be in the same spot, so someone who came along afterwards couldn't just open it immediately. So now we're back, it's scrambled again, and you have to go through the same process. Now in this padlock, these rotors are actually 3 different sizes, even though I put great effort into making them the same size at the beginning. So here, this one rests first on here, and that's so it'll engage the last rotor first and sort of hold it in place, and then the second rotor, if this has a little bit of spring in it, and then the third rotor. But that's actually a security flaw, so real rotors don't, real combination locks don't use that system. They try and hold the bar away a little bit, because if you apply pressure to this bar downwards, so I'm applying some pressure, it's pressed against here now. When I rotate it over, you can actually hear it drop in. And that's a flaw because you can listen to the lock. So we did the first one, and now we can listen for second one and then third one. And now you're in. You never had to know the numbers. So when they show people in movies listening with stethoscopes against the lock, well, that's what they're listening for, is they're listening to hear the bar just go over these notches and hear it tick over or whatever sort of sound it makes. So by understanding what's inside, it really is a pretty simple system, and you can find ways around it.